Hello, everyone, and
Hi.
welcome to Journey's Travel Industry Masterclass with Charlene Dave, co-founder at CharlotteJames in the United States and in the UK, Ina Lee, CEO at Platinum Private Journeys in China, Kemi, Wells-Conrad, founder at Wells Luxury Travel in Canada. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Michaela Jacobe. I am the founder of Journeys, and I'm so excited to be your host and moderator for today's session. Just a little bit of background on me and the company. With nearly 3 decades of experience engaging luxury buyers from around the world, I had the privilege of creating internationally award-winning, uniquely tailored events that redefine the way that people network. My journeys in the luxury travel industry began as the comms director for Reed Exhibitions, where I oversaw very, very prestigious events like WTM, ATM, ILTM, IBTM, amongst many others. After 14 years in Reed, I created and led Connections for over 8 years, pioneering new age networking concepts rooted in extraordinary experiences. So between my team and I, we bring almost 100 years of combined experience in the luxury travel market, spanning everything from major events to even managing international sales and marketing offices. Some of my team do for luxury hotels chains, or did, and independent properties worldwide. In 2022, I founded Journeys Global Group, aka Journeys, with the vision of transforming the way luxury travel professionals connect and collaborate. Journeys is more than just a networking platform. It's a global community dedicated to empowering luxury travel suppliers and agents to build meaningful relationships and drive businesses' success. We specialize in curating bespoke events that bring together top-tier buyers and sellers in intimate, high-quality settings, ensuring that every connections made is actually impactful and productive. And to this end, we have trademarked a new word, and that is the fam-meet way of doing business. We believe that positive memories help build trust, and that trust in turn leads to business. And that's why, instead of staying in one place, our events are structured around unique destinations, building memories together through wonderful local experiences. Just a few months ago, we returned from Journeys in North America in Houston, beautiful city of Houston in Texas. And during the event, we had 25 global suppliers and 35 luxury buyers from the USA, from North America, meeting in unique locations such as the Museum of Fine Arts and the NASA Center, experiencing culinary delights and the thrills of attending a baseball game. To make it even more memorable, we also met a real NASA astronaut, which was just so cool. This is the true spirit of the Fam Meet way, where buyers and suppliers together through these experiences will build memories. Memories will build trust, and trust will form the foundation of lasting business relationships. We've got a number of upcoming events. Our next event will be Journeys in Italy in November. We will be experiencing the cities of Pesaro and Urbino, and we will be bringing together 35 Italian suppliers specialized in luxury, with up to 40 luxury agents coming from the USA, Canada, Europe, and Asia. We will be finishing the year this year with a private beach lunch on Wednesday, the 4th of December in Cannes for our tribe, our Journeys members. And then the first event of next year will be 14th and 15th of January, will be online, where we will bring together up to 60 global suppliers with more than 100 luxury travel agents from the USA, Canada, and Mexico. In April, Journeys United Kingdom, bringing together 30 Mediterranean suppliers, Italian, European, and up to 45 luxury travel agents from the United Kingdom, all parts of the UK. Journeys North America again will be in Houston at the beginning of May, bringing together 25 global suppliers with 40 luxury agents from the North America. And last but by no means least, we will return to Italy on the 23rd to the 26th of November. And it'll be a fantastic destination in Italy with 35 Italian suppliers specialized in luxury and 40 luxury travel agents coming from the USA, Canada, Europe, and Asia. Right, but we're here today because today's masterclass is a reflection of our commitment to you, our suppliers and our buyers, our valued tribe members, with the tools, giving the tools and insights you need to excel in this competitive market, to boost your sales strategies, improve your communication with luxury travel agents, and maximize your return on investment through effective networking. It's an incredible, I think, opportunity to learn from some of the best minds in the industry. And I'm so glad to have a wonderful panel here with us that will share their wisdom with all of you. And I am also glad that you've decided to listen in. As many of you know, Journeys was founded with the mission of connecting luxury professionals with top-tier suppliers from around the world. And over the years, we have grown into a powerful network dedicated to fostering collaboration, innovation, excellence in the luxury travel sector. And today's session is a reflection of that commitment. Now, let me introduce you to the extraordinary lineup of speakers who brings a wealth of experience and insight from different parts of the world. And I'm very, very excited. And so thank you for being with us today. And in no particular order, here we have Kemi Wells-Conrad, based in Canada, but originally from England. Kemi founded Wells Luxury Travel back in 2021 in Vancouver, after 6 years of managing one of the Western Canada's largest independent travel agencies. Kemi is renowned for her ability to create bespoke travel experiences that cater to the unique needs of our clients, and is an expert in crafting sales strategies that truly resonate with the high-end travelers. So hello, Kemi.
Thanks for having me.
Very, very, very thrilled that you're with us. Next, joining us from the United States is Charlene Dave, co-founder of CharlotteJames, together with her sister, Kathy, who is based in the UK. That's why when I introduced her at the beginning, I said both USA and UK, whilst she is actually based in Austin, in Texas. Charlene has an exceptional track record in building luxury brands and curating exclusive experiences. She's been fortunate enough to grow up in Italy, live in the UK, Cairo, Japan, and Hawaii, and has also worked for a DMC in Hawaii for many years. That's how I actually first met Charlene. Her insight on strategic communication and networking with the luxury market are sure to provide valuable takeaways. So hello, Charlene, and thank you for being with us.
Thank you, Michaela. It's wonderful to be here.
And last but certainly no means least is Ina Li, CEO of Platinum Private Journeys in China. She's with us here today. Ina is a powerhouse in the Asian luxury travel market with a deep understanding of cross-cultural communication and business strategy. Ina is a buyer as well as a supplier, as she's also has her own DMC. And Ina and I have worked together. We brought events to China in the past as well. Her perspective on enhancing supplier-agent relationships will be incredibly insightful. So hello, Ina.
Hi. My pleasure. Thank you, Michaela.
Brilliant. So today's session is designed to make the most of the expertise that we have here. We'll be covering essential techniques in effective networking and maximizing business opportunity that can significantly impact your return on investment. So without further ado, let's get started, okay? So as we've seen over the last few years, the wants and the needs of the luxury traveler are ever evolving. And in such a volatile scenery, I'd like to really pick your brains. And I'd like to ask this question to actually all of you. I'll start with Charlene so that we're not going to talk to one another. My first question is, how can hoteliers and DMCs tailor their offering to better meet the expectations and the needs of the luxury travel agents and their clients? Let's start with you, Charlene.
Okay, I think for me, or for us, I should say, a timely response would be one of the first things. In other words, I mean, in the US, everybody wants something yesterday. It's 24/7. So if I don't get a response and I have to keep, emailing, did you get my email? That makes it tough. I mean, the other thing I ask is that set my expectations. If you can't get me a response or the information that I need in a timely manner, that way I can set my client's expectation. I think that really makes a huge difference. I think that would be for both hotels and DMCs. I think for hotels specifically also, if when I receive a quote or rate, and then there's a different rate on the website, it makes it a bit of a challenge when dealing with the client. So I think if there's a way to match those up so that there isn't a discrepancy, that would also be very helpful. I think that's something that definitely needs to be addressed. And I think it's interesting for DMCs because we belong to Serendipians, and on the WhatsApp group, there was just recently a whole dialogue about line item versus a lump sum quote. And that, the consensus was that line item makes life a lot easier because you can then see what specific activities or experiences, what those costs might be. And then you can tailor it for your client a lot easier. And also, let's say there's an experience that was canceled. You have no clue in a lump sum quote what the value of that experience is. So I think that also doing line item quotes, I think would be very helpful on the DMC side. So yeah, those are that's my thoughts.
Yeah, I'd like to jump in there, Charlene, because we do a lot of direct hotel bookings, but also a lot of DMC bookings. And definitely I'm finding, and this, I believe the whole industry, we're just at a changing point, and I feel like policies need to change. And I really respect, we're realistically working in quite a low margin industry compared to many others, but clients are getting smarter, and especially as we're seeing a wave of new to advisor clients, which is huge potential for our whole industry. There are so many affluent clients out there that are booking themselves. So there's a huge opportunity. But in some of the newer ultra high net worth clients I've got who are spending so much money, but they want that line item. And I've actually had some major DMCs. Our agency is part of Virtuoso, but I do work with both Virtuoso and non, because ultimately the needs are different based on the client and the budgets. But I am finding, ironically, the richer the clients are, they are like more stickly about their money, and they want to know exactly what it is. And I think back to your point about that timely communication, and I appreciate both sides. We're all very stretched, right? We're under demands of trying to get back to our client. The DMCs, remembering that they have so many clients, so many of us are their clients, so they're also stretched because we're all wanting things quickly. And when it is a lump sum, and then the client has one question around, oh, I don't know if I want to do that anymore, then we're having to wait like several days, whatever, to get back. Whereas if we just got the line item from the beginning, I believe that would be a lot helpful. But I know why traditionally it wasn't offered, because then you think people are going to price shop. But the clients I'm dealing with, it's beyond that. They're not even necessarily, they're not trying to save it by $20. They just more want to feel in control of what they're getting to curate and choose. They want options. They want to be able to pick and choose that and understand, in Asia, that private temple dinner might be $4,000. They're fine to pay that. It's not about they're trying to find it cheaper. They just want to understand. But I know that that's not the way traditionally so many DMCs have worked. But I do just believe we're at kind of at a changing point that everyone needs to relook at our policies as well, because hotels typically are more flexible. If we're working with a DMC, they want obviously prepayment and all of this. And some of my clients are just pushing back. They're like, why? I've booked all these great trips directly with hotels before. They just add it to my bill. I'm not paying a 30%, non-refundable up front. So I just running into all these sticky kind of challenges. And I feel for both sides, because I understand we all need to protect ourselves, but I do think we kind of need an overhaul about how things are done on all sides.
Yeah, no, I agreed. I think those are very valid points. And I think no one has an objection. DMC has a line item that is a fee.
Yeah, exactly.
Design fee or whatever you want to call it, that's fine. I just think, as you said, clients want to know, and that, they want to feel they're getting, value for their money.
Yeah, because transparency is key. And actually, you made a really good point. I understand because of the low margins, often things might be inflated in certain elements because everyone needs to make a bit of the money. But the clients I'm finding really want transparency to build that trust. Yeah. So they'd actually just rather, if the DMCs need to charge an around-the-clock access for 24-hour ground support, that's fine. But I believe, let's put that as a separate line item. Right. That the clients can then choose or not, because rather than trying to inflate different elements, because clients are getting savvy and they're really not liking it.
Yeah, agreed. We've definitely run into that.
Yeah.
And what about you, Ina? Would you have,
actually, I want to say on my side, I'm also a DMC, and also I'm a buyer. So during my previous works, the past 10, 11 years, I don't really care about whether or not they can itemize each services. But the thing I care about is the capability that they can provide this one-stop solution to me, because I hate to discuss according to one itinerary or for one group of my client. I need to talk to different person. For example, some hotels, the salesperson will just direct me to another manager who's being responsible for a banquet, for meals, for housekeeping. So to me, I think the most important thing to find a reliable long-term relationship with a supplier, a hotelier, or a DMC is that they have a team capable enough to give me one-stop service. And the most important is to maybe the one person that can be really stable enough to deal with me for at least just one client or for a long term. So, and as for the how they quote this, I provided some exclusive services. I really cannot do itemized the different services I provide to my client. So as long as we are on the same page, we understand each other, and we set up, just like Charlene said, we set up the expectation at the very beginning, then there will be no confusion, no conflicts during the negotiation. Yeah. And I can't agree more. A timely response is something I really need. I'm gonna chase my supplier. Yeah.
So my next question was really what specific qualities and services do luxury agents look for when selecting hotels and DMCs? I mean, we talked about some already. Are there any others that that you would want to single out apart from the ones that you've already actually looked at, Ina? Is there anything else that you're looking for, qualities-wise?
Yeah, quality-wise, I think the ability that they can handle emergencies, because we as actually sometimes we treat our clients like our babies, like our kids. So we have to put them in some hands, right? Some people that we can really trust them with. So, for example, if we have a night call from one of my clients, say, hey, my kids or my partner get some really sickness, or I even have a true case of broken arms. The minute when they arrive into the hotel, the kid is so naughty and jump off the bed. So I'm so lucky. I had a very reliable local partner. He said, Ina, don't worry. It's the midnight in China, and it's in the afternoon of Belgium. I still remember. So let us deal this with you. They split the group. It's a family group, only 6 of them. So 2 of them, the mom and the kid, they send it to the hospital, and the rest still keep on going the itinerary. So I'm so relieved at that moment. I still remember. So that client also has no complaint at all, even though they have to pay for the emergency hospitality every bills in advance. So at the end, the client, both the client and the supplier, we became friends for decades. Yeah.
I would like to just talk about for the hotels, because I know there's hotels and DMCs listening. There's 3 things for hotels that from a quality perspective, or things I'm looking for. One, on the websites, please everyone check the images, because we're selling a suite product for a great amount per night, but the clients really want to see, is it dual sink? Is there a bathtub? Well, sometimes hotels, even some of the best ones in the world, if you look at their website, they've got like an up close zoomed picture of a beautiful like flower in a vase for one of their 3 pictures of the room. And I'm like, I kind of would love to see floor plans. I want to see multiple pictures. So imaging, I think, is one element. Then looking for the technology inside the room. Like at this point, I do really believe every hotel needs to have USB, both A and C now, by the bed, or really easy accessible. And they're basic things, but many hotels are still missing that. And I do think even if you're not having the money to do a full renovation at this point, there's still that little element, or at least pre-providing an adapter if you're in Europe and you don't have easy access, because those little things can really frustrate travelers. And then third thing is back to what Charlene said about price integrity is so key for us. I mean, it's so much of a battle for us as an advisor about fighting around price, which I remind clients, I'm not controlling. We're just the middleman. It just is much nicer for us when there is a clearer channel of what that gross like bar pricing is.
Yeah. And I would also say, the attention to detail. There's definitely, I've been in so many different hotels where there just are not enough plugs. If there's 2 people in the room who all have, you both have laptops, iPads, iPhone, more than 1 shower cap in the bathroom. I mean, these are really little things, but they make a difference, because you want the experience to be seamless across the board, so that every interaction that you have, that the client has, from housekeeping to the front desk personnel to running, into people in the hallway, is really a positive one, and that they feel special. Because I think anyone who checks into a hotel wants to feel special, right? So I think the attention to detail also is, across the board, is really important.
Especially with now, when a lot of luxury clients expect the intuitive, they want to be known, and they expect both experienced providers and hoteliers and DMCs to know who they are, what they want, what their likes are, what their dislikes are. So going even more back to basics seems obvious, but actually the attention to detail. So these are all very, very well made. Very, very well made points. So thank you very much for that. I wanted to just touch upon innovation, and I wanted to and feel free. I mean, you guys have been already brilliant at chipping in if you feel strongly that certain points are being missed. But I wanted to ask Kemi, in regards to start with regards to innovation, how important is it in your offering, and what types of innovative experiences or services are currently in demand amongst luxury travelers? Because it's an ever-evolving beast, let's say. Every year, every month, there is something that we want new.
There's one thing I notice often with the European DMCs, some are still, the wording, it's just, I feel like templates are being used from like 10, 20 years ago. And for example, the use of vouchers. I mean, come on, we're not using vouchers anymore. You're not needing to print out a voucher, are we? Or are we not? So when the wording is still, and that's making me feel like a lot of just documentation is maybe working off old templates that perhaps could just be looked at to be refreshed. Little simple things like that. I really appreciate DMCs who are proactive to give my team and I updates around the client status. Oh, we picked them up tonight. I know it's more work, but again, it's like if we're all trying to work and with higher spending clients and give, I want less clients, but higher spenders. And I'm sure ultimately DMCs want less agencies to work with and they want high spending travelers. So these kind of details, when they update me, oh, the client's checked in fine, everything's great. Or midway, if something has gone awry, to have a quick note from the DMC, good or bad, just makes us feel informed. So we're not hearing about it when the client returns. So that's one thing about, and it's not a technological, it's not a crazy innovation, but it's a change, I think, managing expectations and that kind of real time lifestyle these days. Things like WhatsApp communication, some people are really great at that. I know some DMCs set up groups, depending again on how intense and how involved the client is, just about updating, or even us making sure we can communicate in advance. If your driver is going to check in, oh, I'm waiting for you outside. I know WhatsApp is typically better for that internationally as well, if people aren't paying for roaming. Another thing I wanted to bring up is about the digital itinerary tools. So all of our long-term regular clients, we use Travefy as a digital app. There's Access as well in UMap. I think they're three of the key ones. And then in Africa, they have some other strong tools. But I would still love that integration. Some DMCs are already working on one of the tools. I think that could be talked about maybe up front to see, oh, do you use any of these platforms? Because we're receiving like a Word or PDF about the day by day with a DMC. We typically aren't sending it in that. We're looking for, maybe we have to update some better pictures. We want to co-brand it. We want to digitize it. So then we're spending loads of time putting it into our tool. So I wonder if maybe some people, we could work a bit more collaboratively of having integration for the digital itinerary tools, because clients are definitely expecting that.
Yeah, I think
Travefy, you said.
Travefy I use. I
too.
feel bad as well. Three of them came out, Travefy, Access, and UMap. They all kind of came out at the same time, and they practically do the same. So now I wish there's only one of them, so we can all just be on the same product, but we're all kind of using different ones.
For the sake of the audience, tell me the three, which ones are they? Because it might be really useful for the listeners, the people that are listening in.
There might be other ones as well, but the main ones I know that are serving at least the North American market are Access, Travefy, and UMap, if it's still around. I'm not sure. Access and Travefy I see as the two most popular, and it's fantastic because we pay. It's a paid for service. It's not much per month, and you can build all your client itineraries, and then the clients get a complimentary app they can download, and they can see their day by day. Like that is an absolute given now to all my clients who travel with us. They love it. They can see this up on their app. So you can also create templates from it. So I think it's really useful for DMCs who aren't using it already, because we do know, even though you might make bespoke trips, a lot of people want to do, if they're going to Italy for the first time, they are often covering the same key destination. So you can even build out general templates and then tweak, like copy and then tweak it for the individual client. So I want to do things that are saving us, saving us time, being more efficient. And we don't always need to reinvent the wheel. We just need to get things set up.
Yeah, we use Travefy as well and really like it. It gives it, like, for example, on the flights in real time, it'll give the client an update if there's been a gate change, if there's been a delay in the flight. It's been great. But we worked with Terra Nova in Costa Rica, and I really love their presentation because they put our logo on it. And I don't know what system they use, but it's great because it has a map showing the client where kind of they're going to be going in Costa Rica. And it's been great. I love that. So
do you use that, Ina, in China as well, these apps?
China is a different world, so I'm sorry. Normally everything in China is on WeChat. So I would love to work with some hoteler or a DMC. They have WeChat account. That will save me a lot of my energy and my time. But yeah.
That's a good insight, at least, isn't it?
Yeah.
To work with your side of the world.
For the travel, maybe Kemi, and you can share with me. There's the app or that. Later.
I can send you some samples. They're really great. They're also good to use for inspiration. So again, if you make this template version, 2 weeks to Australia, New Zealand. And I'm like, oh, you're thinking this is some ideas and some of the hotels we work with. And they also preload with your consortia. So when I'm inserting a Virtuoso hotel, for example, auto type it, it brings the images, the amenities, the beautiful description. So it's saving time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. Yeah.
Ina, I'm going to stay with you and ask you one question that I'm often asked by hoteliers and experience providers about the most effective way to pitch their product and services to you guys, to luxury travel agents. So how should they go on about that? What's an effective pitch in your world?
For our client, I cannot speak for all Chinese client. I speak for PPJ's VIP members. So for our client, they're always looking for something's new, something's unique, something's exclusive. So I give you a good example. I have I have a request from my client. They want to do something really exclusive because they're kind of really prestigious people, let me say high net worth corporate owners. So they want to have something special. So I reach out to several DMCs in Japan. And then at the end, I selected one specific DMC because they know someone, they know some artist nationwide, they know some well-known art. I think it's art for China, designing China. So that's the reason why I finally work out with them. And on the other side, they don't need to sell to me. Actually, the moment they share with me their product and their connections. And also another important thing is they told me they have ever provide services to a very well-known Chinese ping pong player. It's an Olympic champion. So I said, okay, that's the one. That's the business partner I really need. So they understand our Chinese clients' requirement, their habit, and they know how to. It's not like a pitch. They know how to satisfy my client. So yeah. So that's. Thank you.
That's very good. That's very good. Thank you, Ina. We've touched upon innovation earlier, but I think that I need to kind of put myself in the shoes of the listeners, which are hoteliers and experience providers. And have you got any examples of really innovative experiences? Because we touched upon it with Kemi, and she obviously came up with the digital app and everything to put together the programs, which is from an operational perspective, it's amazing. But in terms of actually types of innovative experiences, and I ask this to all of you, are there any specific innovations that or experiences that you guys that have gone, oh wow, your clients have gone, oh wow, yes, absolutely, this is it? Any that have gone really, really amazingly sold out in terms of innovative experiences that you have sold to your clients? Any one of you?
Are you talking about, on-site experiences?
Yeah, I'm talking about the actual experience. What is the luxury buyer looking for? Is there a luxury? Is there an experience that is not the usual thing, but that your clients have gone, oh wow, absolutely, I love that, I'll book that, I really like it, because that they always want something different, don't they? And that is the biggest challenge to a lot of hoteliers and DMCs and experience providers, is to invent something new to give to these very wealthy people. So that's one of the things that some suppliers have said, oh gosh, I need to rack my brains as to what to offer them. And if I just wondered if there is anything new that you've recently sold that has been a hot seller, so to speak, recently.
It's more, I don't know if it's necessarily groundbreaking, but what is just a common theme is that they want the special access. So they love if you have the opportunity to go with the chef and get the market and make the food together. They want to have, private, it's like in Asia, for example, we're getting some examples in Japan. They can do lunch that prepared by monks inside a private temple. They can have dinner with an actual geisha, not just a maker who's in training, like actual, only certain providers can get that access. So, and still that farm to table and privatization of things is what my clients are looking for. So I don't necessarily if this is crazy innovation. It's just they want privatization. They want the unique access, and they don't want to be doing it in crowds, and they don't want to just have a private guide. They want private access with the private guide, so other people aren't around.
I see.
I think too, the other element is creativity. We had a multi-generational family in Marrakesh, and created an amazing race-like event. They split up into 2 teams, and they were, all ages. But it was done in the, in the Medina in Marrakesh. So it was, and there were some really creative.
I love that.
Tasks that they had to do, like to remake. It was an iconic photograph of who's the very famous designer that spent so much time in Marrakesh? Yves Saint
He'll
Laurent.
come to you, don't worry.
Yeah, it was an Yves Saint Laurent, an iconic photograph of him, and so they had to recreate it, and it was really they just had so much fun. And it was very creative, the whole experience. And they learned a lot about the Medina in doing that. So I think creativity is the other aspect. And that you can take, you can buy out, a museum and do an incredible event there. I mean, I think there's all sorts of things that can be done that are unique and creative and that just take money to do. So.
And clients want options. There's another thing I would love to say to the DMCs listening in is so often I'll try and give, I know it's very important for us as advisors to give you the more you want, the more you know about the clients, the better you can tailor everything. So sometimes I will give all that and I still feel like I'm getting back quite a generic proposal with just one option per day. Clients want to feel involved. Even if they're paying for an advisor to plan it for them, they still want to be able to feel like they can pick and choose. So I really, really love when I see 1, 2, or even 3 options of what you could do in that day, rather than just the one, or this is how you do this half-day tour of Florence. It's like, right. I'm sure there's some really creative things that you can give me options. I would love that.
Yeah.
So basically,
yeah.
Oh, sorry, now go ahead.
Oh, it's okay. I'm sorry. I just add one small story on my side. When I was doing this DMC, we had this inbound clients to us from Europe. So at the end of the trip, we gave them to each of them a Chinese name. And at the end, I asked a friend of mine who's an artist who designed a personal stamp for them, the Chinese stamp. So I gave those to them as a souvenir the last day of their trip in China. They both got tears in their eyes. So this is something they never ever expected. And it's something that's quite Chinese, quite traditional to them. So something that's small but really touching. I think that's the moment we created.
So suppliers, be creative. Get your thinking caps out, be innovative, and think simple things and surprise people. Give the unexpected. Small things are often overrated, but they're not actually. It's what counts, I think. So thank you for this. Now, Charlene, I just wanted to ask you about, in the marketing world, we usually say that if something is not communicated, it doesn't exist. So we know we've got a highly competitive marketplace where agents get bombarded with new openings, refurbishments, updates. What communication strategy do you find the most effective? Because obviously the suppliers want to build and maintain a strong relationship with you. So how can they do that?
Well, that's an interesting question. I really thought about that because on the one hand, we do get inundated with emails on just the latest, whether it's stop sell and, you know, whether it's a refurb, whether it's a reopening and so on. But I think for me, I really work and like to establish relationships, long-term relationships with my suppliers, and keep in touch with them. So in either direction, and also one of the things that I do enjoy is when people come to Austin and they'll have a small lunch or a dinner or a breakfast, and invite just a few travel designers, travel advisors, and they have the suppliers there as well. It's a really nice way to connect, you know, share a meal, talk about what's happening in their, you know, whether they're DMCs or whether they're hotels. So I think for me, it goes back to, again, that personal relationship, that personal touch, and keeping in touch that way. So.
Well, thank you for that. That's, again, golden nugget. So, Kemi, following on this topic, how do you feel service providers can effectively gather and utilize feedback from luxury agents to improve their offering and their communication?
Yeah, I definitely think we could all probably work a bit better. We're all working so hard, and I feel sometimes we go straight into something versus taking that step at the beginning to actually set some, again, manage expectation and understanding. For example, a DMC would be, is it the first time you're working together as a DMC versus established? Are you a newer advisor, or are you more established advisor, been selling for years? Because I think depending on all those different variables, the communication style may need to change. And I think even just kind of establishing that up front, you know, even when we're at a trade show, sometimes people go straight into their offerings versus actually understanding about the advisor or your agency. For example, I'm normally quite transparent. There are certain parts of the world I already have incredible partnerships with. So I might not be proactively looking to take on another DMC. However, by talking about that, I'm very honest about it up front. I say, tell me some USP then, like what makes you really unique? What are some really cool things you've been working on? Because maybe if I really know that, then maybe there is an opportunity, you know, to find a gap, because we do have to be realistic. Like, we can't support everyone, and then you're all incredible partners. I say, there's so much incredible hotel product. But I think it's really important to kind of understand where the advisor is coming from the big, or what their kind of book of business is like, or what do they need, and kind of understand what they might need to how then why your company would be able to support them. Does that make sense?
So how can they, that makes a lot of sense, but how can they utilize, what feedback, how can they give you the feedback? Is it just open communication and just be upfront, set expectations, and then, you know, afterwards have a wash up and tell me what has not gone well, or that kind of very direct?
Yeah, I think, two-way communication, and, you know, we all want to improve, right? We all want to get better. Even the best of the best hotels, there's always room for improvement from a constructive, positive ways. You know, I have follow-ups with my clients after their trip to see the good, the bad, and what they might want different in the future. And I feel we could try and do more of a follow-up with some partners are very good at reaching out after the trip if you've got any feedback, some don't. So I feel it'd be good to just keep the lines of communication open, whether or not that's an email, a phone call, a Zoom call, just to communicate feedback, because we can always take in room for improvement.
Thank you very much. Ina, as you represent a market that some of our clients are really struggling to penetrate, how important would you say that cultural sensitivity is in their communication? What would be your advice towards those clients that want to communicate respectfully and effectively across different cultures? So what's the best channel of communication? I mean, you talked about WeChat, of course, but there are obviously certain codes of conduct that people need to be made aware of, and so how does that, what's the best way to reach the Chinese market and to communicate with you as well?
I think first of all, I agree with Kemi to establish the connection, and it's at the end it's a people business. So for me, I would love to work with someone who I know. You don't need to sell your product, sell your service to me. At the very beginning, you just sell yourself. So if there is a one I trust, or we can find the chemistry first, then whatever or whenever the first one I think about will be you. So culture wise, actually, I think for my clients, most of them have a very, let's say, have the overseas experience. They can even speak fluent English. So they're not that, for last generation, they might be difficult if we want to have provide the, let's say, pitch my client of the last generation. Probably you need to have Chinese speaking stuff. That would be the best way, but normally it's difficult to do that. So in my case, I think first of all, you need to be really a reliable person and would like to establish the personal connection with me or with my team member. And also for how culture-wise, Chinese is a crazy about food. I still remember I had a great case when we were in Africa, where I personally guided a private group there. The chef, he was so serious. He even Googled the recipe for Chinese dumpling, even though he got it wrong at the end. But it created a lot of, my client was so amazed, and they were so, they even after so many years, they told to me, Ina, I would love to take my clients, take my own friends back to that place again, because they respect us. They treat us as like family members, not like clients. So yeah, food is key for a Chinese.
Brilliant. I love that. I think it's a beautiful country, and it has all its own ways in, and you have to appreciate. But again, going back to what Charlene has said and Kemi earlier, it's all about communication at the end of the day, being open, honest up front. It seems simple, but sometimes in this hectic world is not always easy. Now, the last topic I wanted to touch upon, it's about trade events, preparation, follow-up. We often hear that suppliers who travel extensively struggle to prepare for an upcoming trade event, or even follow up from one to another that they've just attended. So being on the other side of the table, and I'm going to ask this to everyone, so feel free to chip in. I'm going to start with Charlene, but what are the key elements that hoteliers, DMCs, experience providers should prepare before attending a trade event to maximize their networking opportunities?
Well, I think for me, I think for them, for their presentation, they have beautiful images. Whether they're in a trade show setting where it needs to be the images behind them, or in their presentation, and also knowing about if it's a hotel, the story of their hotel, what's the history behind it, the destination, especially maybe a lesser known destination, where they are on a map, what the airlift is, what airlines fly in there. I do want to see, obviously, the rooms, but I don't need to see every single room category. And I think, the other aspect of it when meeting during a trade event is for them to maybe find out what my needs are for my clients first, what type of clients I have, who I may have worked with before, and then maybe tailor their presentation that way, rather than as soon as we meet up, they launch into a presentation. But actually try to establish a rapport and establish, hopefully, potentially a long-term relationship. So I think for me, those would be key things to find out.
Yeah, actually, I had, sorry, of all the trade shows I've been to, only a couple of times I've had either, if it was a hotel portfolio or DMCs, reach out proactively to see what my needs might be. And it's been so great because I'm like, oh, actually, I know quite a lot of Italy, but for example, I don't know about Puglia. So can we focus our 8 minutes to talk more about how you could support me there? Or if you have a global portfolio of hotels, or like which regions I might want to get more up to date with, because sometimes in a portfolio there just might be hotels you wouldn't sell, or they wouldn't be right for your client. So our time is always so precious in these meetings. Typically, as you say, advanced finding out, obviously that is more work, but perhaps depending on your structure, if you have an assistant or a coordinator that could perhaps do an outreach to people that you're meeting in advance, to kind of just say, if you have any specific particular area of interest, that I can make our appointment time even more valuable. Some people might say, no, fine, just give me the normal spiel. But some of us, depending on where we're at right now, we might want to know specific things. I think that would be really great to do in advance.
Yeah.
You know, I'm really
honestly,
glad that you both said these two things, because what Charlene said is, you know, don't bombard me with a presentation straight off. Just tell me, allow me to get to know you. And that's exactly what we say. Just get to know the person behind the profession first, especially if you don't know the agent. Get to know who they are, what they want, and how they. And then what Kemi just said right now is also amazing, because we open up our agendas beforehand, giving email and phone numbers where there is open gateway communication. So, you know, do your homework. I know you're stretched, but that is just a sigh of relief, in a sense, that is exactly what you're looking for. But it's actually encouraging people to do that more. Kemi, in a previous time where you and I talked, you mentioned a fact sheet to fill in.
Yeah, for follow-up.
Do you want to explain that?
Yeah. So sometimes in the email follow-up, I just get one line. Oh, it's so great to meet you, Kemi. I'm here if you need me. But I'm just like trying to remember what hotel were you, or what DMC were you? What could you offer me? So, and also I come back and I have a team of IC. So I'd love to share with them the knowledge. So I would love an email either with an attachment of a fact sheet, or even in the body of an email, honestly, just saying like why you're different, or what regions you cover, or where your hotel is, how far it is from the airport, what it could combine with, just some kind of like simple key points that you might take time now to generate a really good consistent follow-up, and then you can use it for every single show and people that you meet, and just to give me a bit more meat in that follow-up, so that I can have that one email and send it to my team. I would love that.
I also wanted to say that's one of the reasons I love the journeys format. Is for that.
Bless you, Charlene. Thank you.
Honestly,
get to know the person behind the profession. Ina, you were saying something and I interrupted you. I apologize.
Yeah, sure. Actually, Charlene, you got my words. I love what Michaela created. Like the first time we met in 2015 in Beijing, we were the suppliers, right? We brought some like Tai Chi experience, a side motor trip in Hutong in Beijing, and calligraphy experience. So those are the moments they created between supplier and buyers. And if there's one thing I would add for suppliers, or for hoteliers or DMCs, maybe get to know your appointments, get to know the person, because we will have a list, right? Get to know them, spend a few minutes, and then that will be very helpful to create your first impression during the 10-15 minutes or time. Because I still remember I got an envelope, put my name, Ina, on it. It's well designed, it's so splendid. I still keep it in my apartment. So every time when I think about that destination, she is the one. I gonna jump the email to her. So yeah, personal attach, I think that's the key to me.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So we talked a little bit with Kemi about her fact sheet, and it would be nice to have the bullet points. Maybe I can put that to all the suppliers and say, in the fact sheet, have this, and this. But what other effective follow-up strategies after meeting the suppliers at trade event to ensure that there is that sustained engagement and of course ultimately business opportunity, potential business opportunity? What do they have to do to follow up? Apart from obviously sending what Kemi said, is there anything else? Any other nuggets?
I would say, yeah, I'm sorry.
You go, Ina.
I jumped in. I would say it has to have a personal contact with the one you would like to have a long-term business with, right? For emails, yes, we do reply to emails, but even when you only have email address, and then never ever just not address the person, because for me, if I got an email like it seems like it's not addressed to me personally, I would put it, I will deal with it maybe hours later. It means that you don't really want to talk to me. You just rather finish your job. It's a marketing email. So the second is I would love to have someone who would like to take a selfie with me, remember me, knowing my name, and also add me on the WhatsApp or the social media. So following each other. So that will be really get me into this person. So I would love to know more about his or her business. And also this relationship will get stronger and stronger. Yeah, thank you. Sorry, Kemi.
No, the only thing I was going to add is in that email follow-up, if the contact that we meet is not actually the one that's going to handle a reservation or not the best one. For example, sometimes we meet the general manager at a show and that's incredible, but obviously they're not going to be necessarily helping us with certain like rate questions or connecting room questions. So perhaps in the follow-up, if it's not them or if there's different people to ask about different things, I would love to have next steps. If you want to book, please like contact us this way or copy in this person, just in that one email to, again, save us searching about when we're ready to actually give you some support.
Yep, I agree with both Ina and Kemi. And I think that the whole point about that person, it goes back to that personal relationship, is establishing a relationship with someone. I don't think anyone wants to feel like they've been sold, So, and I think people do business with people they trust and feel comfortable with at the end of the day. So,
yeah, can't
so
agree
what
more.
Strategies? So what strategies can be used during the trade events to create this lasting positive impression on you guys? What can they do? Okay, we talked about listening. We talked about learning the person behind the profession. And then we talked about obviously all the follow-up, but during the event, to create a lasting positive impression. Is there anything else that these guys should be doing?
It's a hard one. I mean, really, it's just about being good people. I mean, it's about that energy as well. Like you can tell people are really passionate and care about their products or their company or what they do. And some people simply don't have that. And I feel I don't know, it's hard when it can't all be formulated right, because it is people business. It's just a degree that some people have a nicer air about them and some people don't. Some people seem really genuine, some people don't. Some people are just there to sell hard, other people just really care to get to know you. So I don't know, there's part of it that is just a natural magic in connection that is hard to kind of put pen to paper, in my opinion. But I do hope what we've shared today is at least give some tangible kind of takeaways as to just little things that we could all do, because we know both sides are working so hard and we just all want to do better and strengthen our relationships and our book of business and our money.
And be more successful.
You all agree.
Yeah. I think just I would like to add one more thing. Actually, this is a true experience. Sometimes we make friends. Sometimes we establish this relationship not because we had this one-on-one appointments. It's just because we have a very special moment together. So we remember each other. I still remember I had this there's an after party Traveler May event. And then we girls, we like to take a funny pictures, selfie, and we're laughing together. And all of a sudden, there's a young guy who's an Asian boy. He had a photo bomb and jump in, and we hang out together. We then have each other's WhatsApp personal number, and then now we became business partners and great friends. Even though we, at the very beginning, none of us had on each other's appointment list. So yeah, be open-minded. Just smile all the time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, girls, thank you so much. You've been absolutely amazing. I have learned an awful lot, and I am very, very grateful for all the wisdom that you have shared during this nearly hour. So I'm very, very grateful for your time. So as we conclude today's masterclass, I really, really, really do want to thank Kemi, Charlene, and Ina. Your insight has been fantastic. And I hope that the listeners has also found this session enriching and inspiring as much as I did. Thank you all for joining us today. Keep pushing the boundaries, keep connecting. And I look forward to seeing you all at our next events. Have a fantastic day, evening, night, whenever you're watching this this session. May I remind you that this event is exclusive for Journeys Tribe members. And thank you again. And thank you to all of you, and see you very soon.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everyone.
Thank you, Michaela. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah. Michaela, just one word. You're gone.
You can still say I'm still
No,
here.
no.
I'll pass it on. I'll pass the message.
Okay, I just want to tell her, thanks for Michaela. I'm currently in the house of Jill's. So Jill,
Nice.
yeah, Jill Sinclair. Actually, I
All
met
right.
Jill in the Michaela's event 2015. So
No
thank her.
way. Yeah, I know Gio as well.
Yeah, really.
Ah,
Okay.
that's